Hey everyone, my name is Jamie Lee. Welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for watching this video today. Now today I've got a video idea for you that I think is going to be really interesting, but you'll have to let me know if you agree, where we are going to be taking 3 different shaping swimsuits at very different price points, from super cheap all the way up to what I would consider to be very expensive for a swimsuit, and putting them to the test, seeing which ones fit the best, which ones are actually taking the most inches off your waist, and ultimately which ones I would recommend you buy depending on what your budget is. Now, I've tried quite a few different swimwear companies over the years. I've tried many different styles of swimsuits, and there are definitely a few things that I always try to keep in mind when I am buying a swimsuit, especially if I'm trying to buy something a little bit sculpting and shaping. I'm always looking at comfort. Is the suit physically comfortable to wear? Is it something that I would actually be able to wear for a few hours when I'm at the pool, at the beach, without wanting to rip it off? 2, I'm always looking at the price. I'm okay with spending more money on something, but it has to be worth it. What value proposition is it giving to me that is different and justifying the higher price? And 3, if I'm looking at a sculpting shapewear style one-piece swimsuit, how much is it taking off my waist? I want to look sculpted, especially if I'm paying a higher price tag. So today we're going to be taking a look at 3 different suits. One is from Cupshe, one is from Knix, and one is from TA3. And these suits range in price very drastically, from $40 Canadian up to $260 Canadian. A very huge range of prices here. And ultimately, I'm hoping to see if we are spending $260 on a swimsuit, is it that much better that it is worth so much more than the $40 shaping swimsuit from Cupshe? Now, like always when I make these videos, I will link all of the relevant information down in the description box. So I will put what the 3 swimsuits are, what the name is, what color I got, what size I got, and I will include a link to the specific swimsuit. So if you want to check it out for yourself, you can find all of that information down there. Now with the Knix suit in particular, I do have a discount code I can share with you. So I will include that side by side with the Knix swimsuit. So if you want to save a little bit of money when you're shopping there, you can find that down there. But I say we just jump right into it with our cheapest swimsuit. So this is a tummy control shaping one-piece swimsuit from Cupshe that retails for $40. This suit is said to have strong tummy control panels across the obliques and the sides, and also in the front, to help sculpt your tummy and make you feel a little bit more comfortable. Now, unlike the other suits we are going to take a look at, this one does not have any kind of like strings to cinch in your waist any extra. Instead, it just has this little clip at the back that you can clip closed. Now it does have adjustable straps, and this one is a decently cheeky coverage. I would definitely not call it full coverage, but it's certainly not a thong. Now this suit does have underwire cups. Unfortunately for me, as I think is kind of obvious if you're just looking at it, they're a little bit small. I wish that the cups were a little bit bigger. Unfortunately, you kind of get what you get when you have an underwire cup. There's not much adjustment that can be done. So I definitely feel like I'm busting out the top of this a little bit. Now this swimsuit feels decent. It definitely feels like an okay quality swimsuit. Like, I've had many swimsuits from Cupshe over the years. They've lasted me a long time. I feel like they wash well, they wear well in the water, but nothing about this necessarily like blows me away. Now in terms of actual shaping, I do have a little tape measure, and I did measure my waist before I started filming, and it was sitting at around 34 inches today. It can really vary for me day to day and depending on where I am in my cycle. This swimsuit has me sitting closer to 32 inches. So this is taking around 2 inches off my waist, which I think for a $40 swimsuit is pretty good. That's what a lot of shapewear is taking off your waist. So I do feel like I noticed that. I feel like I look a little bit extra sculpted in the waist area. I do feel like it is doing an okay job of flattening out my tummy. It's definitely making me appear slightly less bloated than I am right now. And I do feel like this is a pretty comfortable swimsuit, with the exception of, because the underwires don't completely fit my breasts, they are digging in a little bit on the sides. I probably could have sized up to a large in the swimsuit to help the bust fit better, but then obviously it's going to be a little bit less tight and would sculpt less. So if you are looking for the sculpting benefits of this swimsuit, I would go with your regular size. However, if you have a very large bust, just know it might not fit 100% correctly. So overall for the Cupshe, I would say it's a cute swimsuit. It is doing some shaping. For $40, I think it's doing a pretty good job. And I do think that for $40, it looks pretty good. And with that, let's move on to our mid-tier price range. All right, next up we've got our mid-tier price point, which is from Knix. So this suit costs $140 Canadian. So obviously quite a large step up from our cheapest option, but I did think that this represented a very good midpoint between our $40 and our $260 options. Now this suit and the most expensive suit do share something in common, which is panels at the back that allow you to pull the strings and cinch in the waist. So I have not done that yet. We will do that together now and see how much that is cinching me in. So I just have both strings. I've wrapped them each around my hand once, and we will just pull these in. And you do need to make sure that you're kind of pulling from the top down to make sure that you're tightening it all the way down. So this is it fully cinched. I do feel like it makes quite a big difference. So you can see at the back now, it's nice and tight. It's been tied up. And from the front, I definitely have a much more defined waist now than I did before tying that. Now, before we go in with the measuring, some details about this suit. This entire suit is like a very thick, slightly compressive material. So even before cinching in your waist, it is still quite compressive. I do feel like this one is doing more for kind of smoothing out my tummy area than the Cupshe one was, and we'll have to do the measuring, but I definitely think it's taking a lot more off the waist. Like just looking at myself in a mirror, I look a lot more hourglass in this than I did in the last one. Now this one also does not have any underwire, so I'm definitely finding this a lot more comfortable on my chest. It does have that tighter compression material, so I still feel like my chest is getting supported and a little bit lifted. This one does have adjustable straps, and then this one in terms of coverage is a slightly cheeky coverage. Once again, not super full where I feel like it's too much, but also not so cheeky that I'm nervous it's going to become a thong. In terms of the front, it is slightly high cut in the front, not dramatically. I mention that because the next one is quite dramatically high cut in the front, so just keep in mind this front. And overall, I feel like this one looks and feels very good. The material in this one definitely feels thicker, softer, slightly more luxurious than the Cupshe one did, which makes sense given that it is significantly more expensive. But ultimately, we need to see how many inches is it taking off the waist. And this one is quite a big difference. I'm sitting at around 30 inches in this one. So this is taking 4 inches off my waist. So double what the Cupshe one was doing, and I feel like I can really see that, but also I can feel that. And this is something that I think is important to keep in mind. I think if you were to leave this tied this tight, after a few hours, you might be like, man, especially if it's hot outside, man, like I'm just a little uncomfortable. I need to loosen this up a bit. I don't know if it's realistic to walk around with this tied as tight as it can be all the time, unless you are somebody that like lives for that corseted, snatched in life. For me, at some point, I'm going to want to be comfy, and I think I would actually loosen this a little bit for just lounging, laying by the pool, reading my book. But I could see myself tightening it if I'm getting up to go do something and I want to look cute and a little bit more snatched. This one, I would say I prefer this over the Cupshe, while acknowledging it's significantly more expensive than the Cupshe. I think it looks better on me. I think it fits a lot better. It feels a lot more premium and sturdy, and it's obviously sculpting me a heck of a lot more. So even though it's more expensive, to me, this one is definitely worth the price. You'll have to let me know if it would be worth the price to you. And with that, it's time to move on to our most expensive option for $260 Canadian. All right, last but certainly not least, we have our most expensive option. This is the high cut plungey from TA3, and it retails for $258 Canadian. Very expensive. And I said the high cut plungey, that's because they do make non-high cut versions of this. So if you don't love how high that is, or you want a little bit more bum coverage, they do make those as well. Alternatively, if you want no bum coverage, they also make a thong version. Definitely a few different versions you can choose from. They are all very expensive. Now this suit, similar to the last one, we will need to pull it in at the back. So I am going to do that now. We will do it together and see what difference is made, if any. Now, once again, you need to make sure that you are pulling equally on both of the strings. You need to make sure at the back that the whole thing is coming together, not just at the bottom, not just at the top. And I think this is about as tight as we're going to get it. So this is fully cinched in. So I will just tie this off. And I will say, based on just how it feels, I feel like it's not going to cinch quite as much as the Knix, but I could be completely wrong. We will do the measurement and see. Now, one thing that I should mention about this one, I did get a short length in this because I'm only 5'1". I feel like they recommend the short version if you're 5'2" or lower, or if you feel like you have an incredibly short torso. I'm only 5'1", I'm very short. I went with the short length. Now, it does have adjustable straps, so even if you get a shorter length, you can still make the straps a little bit longer if you need to, but I feel like the short length works well for my torso size. Obviously, this one is very plunging. This company makes many different styles in the same suit. So as an example, if you have a much bigger chest and you want things lifted a bit, they do have a lifty style that has some underwire that you get according to your bra size so that it fits better, which I think I would be very interested in that. However, they're $260. So for me, I got one style. I don't know if I'll ever be able to justify getting a second one, but let's measure the waist and see how this one fits. And the moment of truth, in this suit, I am sitting around 31 inches. So this one is still taking 3 inches off my waist, which, don't get me wrong, is crazy. The Knix is taking 4. I will be honest, when I saw that Knix was making a shaping swimsuit, I didn't even get it at first because I was like, like how good could it be? And this has always kind of been my gold standard for like a shaping swimwear option. Super sculpting, the crazy deep V, ultra high cut, super cheeky at the back. Like this is always what I'm picturing when I think of shaping swimwear. And yet the Knix one to me is something that I could wear in a much wider range of occasions. Around family is really what I mean. I could never wear this one on a vacation with my family. The Knix is taking more off my waist. It's sculpting me more. And I feel like it gives better support for my chest as well. So for me, all that this has really solidified for me is that Knix does a great job of researching and really like designing a product to perfection, and maybe I shouldn't have spent $260 on this suit. So you will definitely have to let me know, are you surprised by the results? Because I really thought that this was going to be by far the most sculpting swimsuit on the market. Before trying the Knix one last week, I put it on to film just like a casual review of it, and I was like, there's no way. Like this is sculpting me so much. Like I can't imagine that my Old Faithful is doing as good of a job. And keep in mind, the Knix, I actually sized up to a large in that suit because a lot of people said it fit too tight, and it still cinches me like crazy, versus this one is a size medium and I can't get it any tighter. Like I have them as tight together as they will go. So I guess my overall thoughts here, if you want to be able to choose from a range of different tops and different styles, and you want that pull it in like crazy sculpting moment, TA3 does have loads of styles. And I even got this suit a few years ago, so there are even more new styles now versus when I was buying. But if you want a ton of different style options, you want to be able to cinch it in, I do still think the TA3 suit is good. It is a very thick fabric. It almost fits like a sports bra. Very, very compressive fabric all around. Obviously, this particular version of top is not giving you the most support, but there are ones that do. It's really up to what you're looking for. However, If you are looking for the best bang for your buck in terms of the most sculpting, the most snatching for the least amount of money, I would personally go with the Knix one. It's way more expensive than the Cupshe. However, I also think it's a way nicer suit than the Cupshe. It fit really well. I think it looks really good. Absolutely snatches the heck out of your waist. And it's a great company that I would always stand behind. Now, if you cannot afford the Knix, I do think that the Cupshe is still an okay option. You're not going to get as much sculpting. You're not getting as good of a quality of a swimsuit. It won't be quite as comfortable as something like the Knix or the TA3 would be, but they do still offer these sculpting and tummy control options that will help you feel your most confident this summer when you're at the pool, at the beach, on vacation, whatever you're doing. And with that, that's all I've got for you today. Definitely let me know if you're surprised with the results. I am surprised. I think that's clear. I really thought that this one would be by far the most sculpting. I'm surprised that it's not, but when I put on that Knix, I could just tell, like, I felt so sculpted in. I do still think I will keep this swimsuit and wear it for like a fun, like sexy thing if I'm going somewhere with my husband. It's very cute. I think it looks really good. It's just not necessarily the vibe for like a family vacay. Versus I think the Knix one still can be. And like always, if you have any questions about any of these suits, definitely let me know about any of these brands in general. I've tried other stuff from all of them except TA3 because it's so expensive. And like always, I hope that you have a fabulous day and that I will see you next time. Bye!